So as I was saying in the last video, when you have a quote inside a quote, like when this author of this article quoted Dolly Parton's interview, and Dolly Parton said she was guilty of, quote, innocent ignorance. I have to show that my source that I'm quoting in this quote quoted someone else in their quote. And so that's going to be the single quotation mark. It is actually the apostrophe button on your keyboard. So make sure that you do that anytime you have a quote inside a quote. Now, for all of your bullet points, you do not want to do only quotes. That's going to present problems for your paper. So some of the things that you put here on your bullet points need to be in your own words. So I'm going to go back over the source and show you what I did here. At the beginning, she says that she supports the protest movement and its push for racial justice. So over here, for this second bullet point, I'm going to put that in my own words. I've already done that on your document, but just to show you, I'm going to say Dolly Parton, and I'm going to put this in my own words, supports Black Lives Matter. Oh, I've changed the wording of this, but the idea is the same. The point is that she supports this movement. So I put it in my own words, so I do not have to use quotation marks. Anything that you copy word for word does need to be in quotation marks. That's how I can tell when I'm looking at your notes here, whether you copied it or whether you put it in your own words. So the most important thing when you're putting information in here is to make sure that if you're copy and pasting, you add quotation marks immediately. If you're putting it in your own words, like I did here, you don't use quotation marks. So find all of the relevant information that you can out of your source, just like I did. And I did have to work a little bit to find all of these bullet points, but it's worth it in the end because when you do start writing your paper, you have a lot more information to pull for your body paragraphs. And since you only have to have 3 sources, you're going to have to get a lot of information from each of those sources. You can add more bullet points if you want. If you have an encyclopedia article that describes Black Lives Matter, I know several of you do, you can easily get way more bullet points than this. But the more information you have here, the easier it's going to be in the future when you're writing your paper. So today I want you to find relevant information about your hashtag movement. Remember, it's got to be relevant, rated R for relevant. And I want you to put all of that information in this part of the chart. Unless you happen to finish early, don't worry about this part for right now. I'll do a separate explanation for that later. But fill out this part of the chart for each source in class today.